All right. My name is Steve and I'm 31 years old. I'm going to tell you that every DNA site like 23andMe, Family Tree DNA, uh MyHeritage and Ancestry, they're all good. They all have something exclusive on that site. And a lot of family members of yours may go on one site only, may go two or three or four. So when you go, say, like Ancestry first, and you see all your family members, all of them, just say all of them. And then you go on MyHeritage and you see a family member that you didn't see on Ancestry. So to get all your family members, well, not every family member of yours will go on DNA sites. Some won't go on DNA sites, some only go on one, some only go on two, three, or four. So to get all of them, every single family member that's on DNA, like every family member of yours that send their DNA to some lab, like the 23andMe lab or Ancestry lab, whatever. You'll also get family members that you don't know. So that's good. I'll tell you about Ancestry. Now, Ancestry, you will get your current residence, but you have to have a lot of close family members on Ancestry. So if you want to find out your close, you want to find out where your relatives are currently living, like in the United States, right? You go on Ancestry and you want to find where your close relatives are, currently living in the United States on AncestryDNA.com. They have to be on that site. The same site that you are, so they can match with you. But there's a negative right there. So you might not get a lot of close family members on there. Some people do and some people don't. So if you don't have a lot of close family members that are on that actual site, doesn't matter what if they're on other sites. If they're on that actual site, and that's good. But with MyHeritage, you don't have to have a lot of close family members. They'll tell you all the countries that your family members are currently living, the ones you do know and the ones you don't know. And they'll show the flag and they'll show you how many people in that country. Yeah, they'll show you. Like you got 20 family members living in Italy that are signed up on MyHeritage. Now, if you got more than 20 family members living in Italy, then some of them are on MyHeritage, which is 20, and some are on other sites. So it's like, okay, I know there's more than 20, so a whole bunch of them didn't sign up on any DNA sites. Well, that's 20 MyHeritage family members living in Italy that are on that site. But your family members just choose whatever site they go on. There's no wrong or right site. And the pros and cons, I mean, okay. Say you got a certain percentage in a certain region or a certain country on Ancestry. That region might appear up on MyHeritage, and the percentage might be higher or lower. So if you got, like, say, East Europe percentage, and it's only like what 5 on Ancestry. On Ancestry, your results say East Europe, 5% East Europe, and then you go on MyHeritage, and it says like 26% East Europe. You're thinking two different percentages. They're supposed to be the same exact percentages. One's wrong, one's right. No, if it's a higher percentage for East Europe, I'm giving you East Europe as an example. If it's a higher percentage for East Europe on MyHeritage and a lower percentage for Ancestry, you got more East Europe family members that signed up on MyHeritage and less of them signed up on Ancestry, even though the Ancestry has more people than any other site. Why? Well, Ancestry has more people than any other site because it's probably more well known. If they only know one DNA site, say they only heard of one DNA site, that's probably Ancestry. And probably people say, "Oh, what DNA site? What's the name of the DNA site?" Oh, like I wanna know my results. I wanna know where I'm from. What's the name of the DNA site? I wanna know where I'm from. What's the name of the DNA site? They'll say Ancestry. Most of them will say that. They won't say, "Oh, there's this site." Most of them say Ancestry, so that's probably why. Now here's the thing about my heritage being better than Ancestry. It's like I told you before, they can tell you all the countries that your family members currently live in and how many are in that country. Not just that, the ethnicity. So you scroll down, see on my heritage, it'll say overview, and you'll scroll down, you'll see country names and the flags. They list the flags. If you don't know the flag, what the design of the flag is, if you're interested. But on the bottom, it'll say ethnicity. Like it'll say Middle Eastern, and it'll say a certain amount of family members that are in the Middle Eastern. So this says, for example, we'll say Middle Eastern, it'll say 35. You've got 35 family members that are signed up on my heritage. They already got their results, you know, 35 family members for Middle Eastern. You know, so other sites will have your family members also as Middle Eastern, but it's a certain amount. They don't tell you on other sites. Like you go on Ancestry, I want to know how many family members of mine are Irish, how many family members of mine are English, how many family members of mine are German. You can't do that. You have to go the hard way. Go on Ancestry, you have to view your DNA matches and look at the results. Or if they have a tree, try it. View their tree and see if they list that country. You could do it the same way on MyHeritage, but like the way I said before, it's much easier. They have it right out. Ancestry, you have to do all the work to find out how many family members are currently living in this country. You want to find out if family members are living in so-and-so country besides the United States. It's hard to do that on Ancestry. You can't. You just can't. Family tree DNA. I wanted to view my results, not my results. I wanted to view my family members' results. I couldn't do that. I couldn't find out if they had a tree. If they created a tree, a family tree DNA. If your family members created a tree, you can view their tree, and you can also pay money to view your mother's family members only, or your father's family members only. So yeah, family tree DNA. Now I'll talk about family tree and MyHeritage and Ancestry. If your mother or father get their results on your page, it will say mother. So if your mother got first, you get your results. Then your mother gets your results. Then once your mother gets your results, yeah, you get your results first, then your mother does, or vice versa, whatever. You go to your DNA matches, and if it says mother on that specific family member, then that family member is on your mother's side. If it doesn't say mother, then that family member's on your father's side. Or maybe that family member's on your mother's side. It's just that your mother doesn't match. Maybe you skip generations or something. Something your mother gets, but something that you get that your mother doesn't. It's complicated. Now, if you get your results, now you say you're on Ancestry. I know they updated, but other sites, not sure if they updated. But if you're on Ancestry for like a few years, you get a certain percentage for a certain region. When they update it, they took it off. Say like you get okay, say you get Iberian as a 25% even. Then when Ancestry updated, they took it off. Does that mean you're not Iberian from the Iberian region? If you don't know what the Iberian region is, it's Spain and Portugal together. So when they say Iberian, they're not just talking about Spain. They're not just talking about Iberian. You could be full Iberian. You could be just Iberian, have Iberian DNA, and no Spain DNA, or vice versa. So they took it off. Doesn't mean you're not Iberian. You were like before they got the updates. You were Iberian. I'm just giving you an example. Iberian is this example. You had 25% from Iberian. Then when Ancestry update, they had that big update. They took it off. Does that mean you're not Iberian? No. It means other countries. You have a bigger DNA from other countries and a small from Iberian. Well, Iberian was 25%, for an example. So they realized that they want you to concentrate on your higher ones. Higher, the word higher and a big amount of big size DNA is the same word. So if they took a region off, plus your percentages from other regions went higher. Like example, you had the Iberian region, right? So you had the Iberian region and the Great Britain region. The Great Britain region used to be Great Britain. On Ancestry, the Great Britain went from Great Britain to England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe. So for an example, if you had Iberian and you had Great Britain, right, which turned England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe, that England region, the percentage went higher, plus they took the Iberian off. Well, because the England region went higher, and maybe other regions went higher too, that's why they took it off. Like, you're getting both. You're getting two things when they update it. They took a region off your list, plus another region is still on there. It's just that they changed the percentage from whatever percentage it is to a higher percentage. Like, for me, they took a percentage off, another region went higher. So they want you to concentrate on your higher percentages than your lower percentages. Your lower percentages are still important because you still have that DNA. It's just they want you to concentrate on more. Like, they took a region off. They made a mistake? No. They know you have that before you got your results. Before they updated, whatever region was on there is true you. Now, if they didn't match, now I heard about this woman that it was on YouTube. I don't know if you heard about it. That she never knew she was Irish. And when she got her results, before the update, she was 25% Irish. So since she found out she was Irish, she celebrate Ireland, St. Patrick's Day. She never knew she was Irish, right? So once she got her results and Irish was on there, 25% Irish, then she started celebrating started celebrating St. Patrick's Day for the first time. Then she stopped celebrating St. Patrick's Day when they took it off. Because when they got the update, they took that Irish 25% off. They took that Irish region that was 25% off the chart. So you stopped. Now, I don't know if this person is watching my video or somebody else is watching my video that knows what I'm talking about. You stop celebrating St. Patrick's Day because when they updated, they took the Irish off. You have Irish family members. Then you're going to think, I do? Well, they took it off. You have Irish family members, right? When they took the Irish family members, when they took the Ireland region off, it would be Ireland and Scotland, Irish and Scotland, or Irish and Scottish, whatever. Yeah, because on Ancestry it says Irish plus Scottish, because it's in the same region. This is what she said. If it's you watching this or somebody else, this is what happened. Her other regions, the percentages went up, and the Ireland region was taken off at that same time when they updated. The reason they took it off is because the other regions, the percentages went higher. You can only have 100% DNA. You can only have 100% DNA. You're still Irish. If you're watching this, you're still Irish. And then if you're not watching this and somebody else is, and they heard about this, a person's still Irish. They just don't, the other regions on your list, you have a bigger DNA, a bigger amount of DNA. And the Irish is smaller. So that Irish, they match. The reason they put that Irish and Scottish on your results because they match you with Irish DNA. So they found out that your biological family members have Irish. Doesn't matter what percentage it is. It's Irish. Because they take a percentage, because they lower percentage, because they take a percentage, because they take a region off when they update your results does not mean they were wrong. They take it off because you have more DNA from other regions. Think about this. When they took it off and the other regions went higher in percentages, it's still 100%. Your results you had before they update, that was 100. You gotta think about it. Add all your results. It equals 100. You can't have 200. You can't have 200 percent. Can't go over 100. You may have 100. Think about this. You may think about this. This is. You can't go over 100%. But think about this. Say you have 100 enough family members in every country or most countries to equal 100%. Now, say you have 100 enough family members from England to be 100%. You have enough family members in Germany to be 100%. So your German's 100% and your England's 100%. 100 plus 100 is 200. But you can't have that. You can't have more than 100%. So what they do is they see how, it's hard to explain. I don't know how they do it, but eventually you'll have a German percentage and you'll have an England percentage. So when they took a region off of my chart, I knew why they did that, because the other percentages from other regions went higher. They went higher. My England went from 11% before the results. I had England as 11% before they updated it. Before Ancestry updated, I had 11% in Great Britain. It used to be called Great Britain. I had 11% in the England region. It went on Ancestry. It went from 11 to 35, or actually 36. My Ireland and Scotland region went from 21 to 34. From 11, England region, from 11 to 35. That's enough to get my Middle Eastern, my Caucasus, and my Iberian to be wiped off. I had those before. Before I got my update, I had the Middle Eastern, but that was like lower than 1%. It's like a point decimal percentage. Because it had the lesser symbol in front of 0.1 or something like that. They took off the Caucasus. Another region they took off. The Iberian, but another Asian region they took off. But they were so low. The England went so high, they had to take the lower ones off. That don't mean I don't match with the Middle Eastern. They just want you to put the highest and the second highest and the third highest and the fourth and whatever. Gotta know. DNA sites, it's an estimate, but the more correct than the wrong. Trust me, the more correct than the wrong. How so? Go in your DNA matches. See a family member that you actually know. Now, Ancestry has the biggest database. How do they know that family member? You see a family member that you actually know in person and they're on your DNA site. How do they know? How do they know that's your family member? Out of all these people, they got 1 million members on there. And out of over 1 million, and out of all those people, that's a lucky guess. If it was just a guess, if they were just guessing, that's pretty of a lucky guess. That's fucking lucky. It's not a guess. They had technology to do it. They match. So you see a family member on your DNA matches that you know in person, and you're thinking, how do they know these people? Then you're gonna think the results is correct. Estimate. Like I would say, how far away from 100? Because if it's 100%, if the estimate, if see that's it's an estimate. So if it was if they were 100% correct on everything, it wouldn't be an estimate. So I'm thinking it's like 95%. They're 95% correct. When they take before you got results, before they updated on Ancestry, and they taken a region. You had a region before they updated it. They took it off because you're not from that region. You have no ancestors from that region. You do, just not enough. They can't put every DNA in there. You have DNA from this country. I'm saying if you're a mix, you have a DNA from this country and this country and this country. You can't do it. Yeah, they're all biological family members, but you can't do it. You can't. You can't you just can't. And it's random. Wherever your ancestors' countries come from on your mother's side, it's random, and so is your father. And on your mother is the closest family member on your mother's side, and your father is the closest on your father's side. So he's 50%. You get 50% DNA on your father. and you get 50% on your mother's. Then you're going to think it should say, oh, then it should say 50, 50 plus 100. Why is my little say 50? Because they're not going by the amount of DNA in general, the whole entire DNA. They don't add every single DNA on your father's side. They don't take, the average amount on your father's side. They don't take, there's so much DNA on your father's side. Every DNA is on your father's side is different. Like, why do you, on your father's side, you match, okay, we'll talk about your father's family members. One family member on your father's, you match what? For an example, 16 centigrams. And the other family member on your father's side, you match 32. Different size. So you add them all together, all the DNA on your father's side, every piece of DNA you're getting from each family member. That's 50. But they don't do that. They go, what's the percentage for this country? What's the percentage for that country? Or if they don't list the country on your results, what's the percentage for each region? About that one. MyHeritage is so good. They list the current cities that your family's from. Now I'm talking about MyHeritage. All your family members that are on your DNA matches on MyHeritage, they can tell where they're from. Yeah, they could do that on Ancestry, but you gotta have lots of close family members. You don't have to have a lot of close family members on MyHeritage. They automatically do it. And they do ethnicity. So if you have 25%, you have 25 on the Middle Eastern, there's 25 family members on MyHeritage that has the Middle Eastern DNA. So that could be by marriage, or that could be biological, or both. So if it says Middle Eastern, you look at ethnicity search under overall, you have to go past the list of countries, then you go ethnicity. Middle Eastern, 25. Middle Eastern, 25. Well, Middle Eastern is the ethnicity. Race. 25 is the amount of your family members that have that ethnicity. So that 25%, it's not all biological. Some are mixed in by marriage. But the people that have that DNA are your biological family members. What I mean by marriage is you're either related to your cousin's mother or your cousin's father. All that 25 in Middle Eastern. Now, Middle Eastern, just for an example, it could be Irish. You have 25 family members have the Irish ethnicity DNA. Ethnicity DNA, same thing. Yeah, you have 25 family members on MyHeritage that has the Irish ethnicity. Well, Irish and Scottish and Welsh together. That's what it is on MyHeritage. They add the Welsh with the Irish and Scottish on MyHeritage, but it's together with the England. I don't know why. It's a way of doing it. But in this world, Welsh is from Wales. Right next to England. Remember, when you see amount of family members with that ethnicity, that doesn't mean you have that DNA, because you're not that family member, and your DNA matches. You're only related to one side of your family. Unless it's your mother, then you're related to a bunch of sides, both sides. The way you have your mother, right? You're related to your mother's mother. Well, if you have your mother on there, then you're related on your mother's mother. You're related to your grandmother's father and your grandmother's mother, because they're the closest. But distance, not a distance, cousins and stuff like that, you're related to one side. But your mother, you would have like, what, 73 segments or something like that? 0.1% on my heritage. Now, speaking about a point, a decimal, do not know why they don't do that on Ancestry. They only give you the whole number. I'll tell you this. Go with my heritage. But if you're going to go with my heritage first, because they list, well, if you're going to go on more than one site, go on Ancestry first. Because if you plan to go on all sites, go on Ancestry first. Because if you go on my heritage, you can't upload any data on Ancestry or 23andMe. They don't allow updates from other sites. You can't get a result from Family Tree DNA and update on Ancestry. You have to buy the kit. But if you're on Ancestry or 23andMe, you can upload your data right on Family Tree and MyHeritage. But think about this. It won't be the same. You're thinking, oh, it's like a copy. Yeah, but they have different, every site has different ways of doing things. They just get an idea. When you update your, put your data on the other sites, they'll get an idea, but percentages might be higher, or you might see new regions that are not from previous sites that did already. MyHeritage is great. I love when they list all the current countries that my family's from and ethnicity. Because you see a percentage, you see a certain amount of family members in that ethnicity. You know, if you don't know what ethnicity is, it means have that DNA from a certain country. Indian is a ethnicity. So you see for certain family members that have that Indian, you could be Indian, or how can I explain this? Or your family members, your biological family members have Indian, but not from the same side that you both match on. Same side you both match on, meaning your cousin's father's side, you both match on that. Or your cousin's mother's side, you both match on that. So you both match on your cousin's mother's side. You don't match on your father. Vice versa. Family Tree, I just it's a good site. They're good. They're good. They're good. They're good. Just I can't find a way to compare my results. They're good. They have a map. And oh, here's another thing. Here's another thing. And I got to tell you this because you might question it. Because when you look at the map and then you have a certain color, like, oh, it covers this area. Look at, say you have Greek. Say you're on Ancestry. And it said you have the results say Greek in the Balkans, whatever. You look at the map. Whatever country they list, don't think you're from that country. You could be, but the countries on the map, when you look at your results, you click on one of your results and you see the map, those countries are in that region. Doesn't mean you're from that region. They're just showing you, the map is just showing you, like if you never heard of Greece and the Balkans, then they'll show you on the map where it is in the world. Like, oh, I heard of Greece and the Balkans. I just don't know where it is in the world. What part of the country is it from? What part of the? Oh, I heard it's from Europe. I just don't know where in Europe. They're just showing you the countries that are in that region. Doesn't mean you're from that region. I mean, you could, saying like European East and Russia. They used to have Russia listed with a Finland because it says Russia. Got European East and Russia. On Ancestry, it says European East and Russia. Because it says Russia doesn't mean you're Russian. The reason it lists Russia, the reason it lists Russia with the European East is because it's from the same region. Doesn't mean you're from Russia. I mean, you could be. That doesn't mean you're from Russia. They're just saying Russia is part of that region. You get Ireland and Scotland on your result. Doesn't mean you're from both. One or the other. Oh, if I'm not getting it from both, why they list both? Because they're from the same region. They can't do separate DNAs. Like, oh, a full percentage, you'll know exactly what Scottish percentage you are. You'll know exactly what Irish. They can't do it. It's Ireland and Scotland together. If you have it in both, DNA from both countries, you gotta understand. A lot of those results are regions. They're not countries. Look at the map. It'll cover countries, but in some when you get in some results will say countries. Like used to be Scandinavia on Ancestry, right? Scandinavia. Then they took that away, and you'll either get Norway, Sweden. So now, like in Scandinavia, so Scandinavia is the region, and now they'll list the country. They list Sweden on yours. Your results say by country name, Sweden. But East Europe, see the difference of if your result says if you have results that says East Europe and Russia, right? And Sweden, well, Sweden is a country name, and East Europe is a region in Europe. So sometimes you'll get your results, it'll say a region name or a country name. That's what they'll do. I heard people say 23andMe is accurate. I'm sure they're pretty good of knowing who you are, but every site is good. Every site is good. Just don't automatically go to 23andMe because people say they're accurate. Every site's good. Every site is good. Think about it. Every site is good. You might have more East Europe family members. You might have more East Europe family members on Heritage and less on Ancestry and other sites. Think about it. Or here's another thing. Even if you have a lot of East Europe family members on Ancestry, that doesn't mean it'll be a high percentage. Now, here's the trick. You go on MyHeritage and you say, besides the United States, most of my family members are living in Ireland. Besides the United States, you might have most people live in the United States. Or you go to ethnicity search, scroll down, past the country list in the overall section. For an example, you see that, the biggest number is in the Irish, Scottish, and Welsh region. The reason it's a big number because most of my family members have that DNA. That doesn't mean that will be highest percentage. You could say, okay, most of my family members have the Irish DNA, but on my results, the percentage is lower than other regions. It's random. 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 And here's a trick. Your last name. I thought I was gonna my highest percentage. I thought my highest percentage would be my last name. My last name is a German last name. Thinking like on Ancestry, I'm getting 6% German. And all the other regions are higher. But that's my last name. Your last name is a German last name. Your last name, your birth last name. Birth. Because you're a female. You might, right now, you might have your marriage last name if you're married. Your birth last name. Oh, my birth last name comes from England. My highest percentage will come from England. Oh, my last name is a Hungarian last name from the country Hungary. My highest percentage will be East Europe and Russia. My last name is a Scottish last name, so my highest will be in the Scottish region. My last name is a Spanish last name from Spain, so I'll say Iberian. It doesn't work like that. I thought that too, but it doesn't work like that. Yeah, you thought your highest percentage will always be your last name. Oh, some people only care about their last name and not know others. Others don't count. Whatever you know is what you are, but not just what you are. So, in my advice, my heritage is good. You want to know if your family member has an ethnicity from this country. You want to know if if any of your family members are Indian, or if any of your family members are Irish, or any of your family members are German or Spanish. Go on my heritage. They'll tell you how many family members of yours have that DNA from that certain country. They'll say Iberian, Iberian. Well, they won't say if you ancestors from Spain. It won't say Spain, it'll say Iberian. That's the region when you put Portugal and Spain together. So if you have, you know, ancestors, think about it. You have a certain family, you want to know a certain family members are German. You want to know the amount of family members that have that ethnicity, that have the German DNA. It'll tell you right there on my heritage. Your ancestor, you have to figure it out on your own. Could take days by looking at your family members. They do it for you on my heritage. But the trick is, if you're going to go on more than one site, go in Ancestry first, and then upload your DNA to my heritage. Yeah, go in Ancestry first. That's if you're going to go on more than one site. Go in Ancestry first. Then when you get your results, download the raw data in your settings. It'll say download raw data. Once you download it, you download it, then you have to go to your email. Yeah, in your settings it'll say download raw data, then you have to confirm in your email and shit like that. Because if you want to go on more than one site, if you go on Heritage first, you can't upload your DNA from MyHeritage to Ancestry. They don't accept it. Even 23andMe don't accept it. But if you're on MyHeritage, you can upload your results to Family Tree DNA. Simple. But I love my heritage. I think my heritage is absolutely great. They can tell you all the ethnicity and all the countries that your family members on your DNA matches are part of. Only thing on Ancestry, you just have to look at the results and their tree to find what birth country. Ever since I went on I uploaded my heritage on my ancestor results to my heritage. I've been on my heritage like crazy. It's great. Now they say that ancestry and my heritage is newer than ancestry. Yes, and people say now if you heard this guy named Andy Lee, he's a nice guy. I like his videos, but one video he said that he was talking about something about the number one DNA site and the second and third. He put the heritage to last. Like it's not great. Heritage is not last. Why? Because when you go to overview, you scroll down on overview, you scroll down, it lists all the countries that your family members are currently living. And then if you want to know the flag, it'll show the flag right there. It'll tell how many people are living in Italy. How many family members of you how many family members of yours living in Italy that are signed up on my heritage? How many family members are living in Ireland that are signed up on my heritage? And you scroll even down, you see a big number in say Middle Eastern. Say you got like 100 Middle Eastern, like 100 family members that are on my heritage. This is an example. 100 family members on my heritage have the Middle Eastern DNA, and I didn't even know it was Middle Eastern. That is great. They found out for me. Ancestry, you have to find out yourself. You have to go fill your family members' results. You have to look at the tree. In the overview section, when they list the country matches and the ethnicity matches, because below the country matches in the overview section is ethnicity. That is great. That is absolutely perfect. I love my heritage. Yep. All right, this is it.